while other academies train their students, describes a special academy that is different from other academies to be good figures in the future and to help each other, but hired crew, where students are allowed to gamble after class, is different from the academy. Even students do everything to make money and exploit other people's economies for fun. The story begins with a student named Suzuri Ryota. She succumbs to gambling, which leads her to a woman named Mary 5 million yen. Because Ryota couldn't pay his debt at the end of the game, he had to acknowledge Peter's superiority and was despised by the disciples there. There was a new student in the class. Her name was Jabali Yumiko. Ryota was asked to escort Yumiko to the academy and explain the rules. Yumiko's face looked innocent, so Ryota warned her not to gamble. When the class was over, Marie asked Yumiko to gamble with her. Mary, knowing that she was a new transfer student, wanted to make her her pet. Maiko gladly accepts the offer. They play rock, paper, scissors. Players will receive 3 cards written by students in the class. They will put them in a random box. At the beginning of the game, Maiko starts to lose again and again. She won 1 million yen because she always wins. Mary underestimates Yumiko and thinks she is a sala. But Yumiko bets 10 million and suddenly surprises everyone. Not only that, her 20 students, they help Mary by drawing cards according to her wishes. You can feel bad even if you are in a losing situation. Yumiko managed to defeat Mary with great luck. As a result, Mary becomes frustrated and owes Yumiko 8 million yen. She also becomes a pet. Maiko also begins to think that she is a good person. The next day, Yumiko gives Ryota 5 million yen to get rid of his pet status. After her previous defeat, Mary, the class students, bullied and treated like pets. Ryota explains that the pet rule has been in place for some time. The student council is led by a woman named Momo Bambi Kirani. She knew that her karate skills would win her the student council. She is excited to get Yumiko to gamble with her. Later, a student council member approached them and took her name. Her family owns a toy company. This is Suki. Suki was encouraging Yumiko, and she invites her. Of course, Yumiko accepts the invitation because she loves playing cards. The game is double card. The player must reveal each card and match 2 of the same cards, where you have to remember where the card is. And they made a bet of 20 million yen. Maiko doesn't have that kind of money. Suki will lend Maiko 20 million yen without interest. When the first round started, Maiko was beaten because Suki had the upper hand in the equalizer, so he earns more than 20 million yen, which panics Ryota. Yumiko wants a rematch, but Otsushi asks her to play. Asks her to bet her fingernails if she loses again. It turns out Suki has an interesting obsession, collecting the fingernails of her defeated opponents. Yumiko wins an overwhelming victory with only 1 round to match all the cards in the first round, and managed to get the win. Yumiko analyzes the card and confirms that Suki cheated. Behind the card are hidden markings that are hard to spot, but Yumiko overcomes the human limit and remembers all the marking patterns in a single game. After that, Maiko challenges Suki by betting her fingernails for your new crazy behavior. But Suki got scared when she saw your new crazy behavior. Suki was so scared that she wet herself and cried. After the defeat, Suki was expelled from the student council group. Marie challenged a student council member named Yuriko. Mary challenged her because pet to give up their status by playing against the student council members. If he lost, he had only 1 chance, he would become a pet, until she graduate from school. Mary, who had hoped to win, was not so lucky because her debt reached 50 million yen and she fell into despair. Seeing that Mary had lost, Maiko decided to play with Yuriko. They get even more excited. The game they play is a life and death game, and they make a bet. 40 million yen for the game. At the beginning of the game, it's a draw. But Maiko discovers that Yuriko is cunning and deceitful. Before, Yuriko gave hope to a weak person, and then she beat him so badly that he despaired. So Yumiko humiliates and degrades Yuriko a lot. Of course, Yuriko is overcome with emotion, and Yumiko risked all her chips worth 40 million yen. When Yuriko divided her chips into 5 places, you get Maiko to put all her plugs in one place. She already knows that the dealer there uses a magnet to move the sword in the cup. Of course, Yuriko will owe Yuriko a huge debt if you win, because the results of the winning bet, and the loser has to pay for it. When Yuriko tries to stop the game, the student council, the president came to meet them and forced Yuriko to keep playing. The results of the Eureka game turned out to be very lucky for her to win. Yumiko lost 310 million yen in debt. As a result, Yumiko's status became that of a pet. Although the mice in class laughed about it the next day, Yumiko got even more excited and played herself as a cat. By the time the students discovered Yumiko, she had turned into a pet. A rogue student named Chiyu tries to find opportunities to play Yumiko. The tricks in Chiyu immediately took Yumiko to a deserted place and wanted Yumiko to show off her beautiful body there. But a student council member named Midori came to meet them. Seeing Midori's behavior was so crazy that Kei lost his passion for Atari and decided to leave. Mary's life plan is organized by the student council. She will marry an old man and have children with him. Mary will of course resent the arbitrary organization of her life. Getting out of control by the student council has to pay off the debt before they graduate from school. Student council secretary Sayaka organized a debt liquidation game for all the pets. Coincidentally, Mary was in the same group as Yumiko when the game started. There the opponents were silent. Ori and his partner, Bommy. Bommy joined Atari because she wanted to make more money. If he managed to win, at the risk of becoming a pet later. Then they played 2 Indian poker cards at the beginning of the game. Atari is dominant to that extent. Atari humiliates Mary and Yumiko. But Mary absolutely refuses to keep quiet and makes fun of it. Until Atari gets angry. After that, Q3, Ori felt uneasy. Even Yumiko found out about Atari, and that's why Bommy had worked together. They also cooperate and manipulate, so Bommy betrays the Kiva department. Atari is still confident of winning, even though it's at the end of the game. Looks like Yumiko and Mary exchange debts to deceive him and hide the value of the chip. So, Mary is first in line. Bommy came second, Yumiko third, and Atari fourth. Conclusion. Atari officially became a pig or pet, owing a total of 310 million, while Mary and Yumiko earned 260 million thanks to the win in the game. As a result, their relationship became closer and more friendly. But Yumiko is still a pet, and it seems that Go's goal is to use her pet status to challenge the student council president later on in a gambling game. Then the student council managed to investigate Marco's past, and Yumiko turned out to be very rich, but it was all gathered independently without the help of her family. She has an older sister who is sick and is being treated in hospital. She folded it into origami, as if it had no value because it was too much money. Then Maiko and Ryota were kidnapped by Midori, and was taken to a place where Midori wanted to play. It's a very crazy game with Yumiko because they both have crazy brains. They play death games with each other. Ryota is the dealer in the game of death. They're asked to match cards arranged by Ryota in 3 rounds. If they win, they can buy weapons with random bullets. In the first round, Midori managed to win and immediately pointed the gun at Yumiko. It turned out that the gun belonged to Yumiko and there were no bullets in it. Then continuing to the second round, Yumiko managed to win. Yumiko also looked for a weapon that was lighter because it was lighter. The weapons had no bullets, so Midori would not die in the game. Then the third round ended in a draw, which fulfilled these expectations from the beginning of the game. There is a human side of Yumiko that is still trying to explain what Midori's actions are so ridiculous, and this is not a gambling game. But Midori wants to die. Listening to Yumiko's words made Midori sweat until she passed out. Maybe she found a new hobby after that. When my diary remembers the look and Yumiko's eyes, he felt horny and always stopped by the restroom to play some water. On the other hand, Kiro meets Mary and asks her to join the student council. because she has already managed to earn hundreds of millions. Although Kira urged her to join, Mary refused, because he did not like her as nature, which greatly humiliated other students. He later became student council president. He will leave the academy for a while because he has a job outside. Of course, the departure of the council president throws the members out of control. Student council treasurer Cade and idol Yumi plan to defeat Yumiko. On the other hand, Suki meets the three. He is there and wants to join the friendship group instead. Suki will support Yumiko if she needs help in the fight against the student council members. You can then invite Yumiko to her home. Yumi revealed that she wanted to make Yumiko an idol with her. Maiko, if you lost the gambling game, you can tell me your intention to make you an idol and debut in an adult movie. Yumiko agrees and is already preparing for the recording. It turns out Yumi has a secret that she hates her fans. She feels disgust even when she shakes hands with them. But your Maiko records all the talk so that Yumi can bet on her career as an idol later in the gambling game. When the game is about to start, Yumiko dresses up like an idol and goes on stage with Yumi. They have to idolize their charm to win the hearts of the audience. After going through various games and still keeping their balance, Yumiko is getting serious about finishing the game. Then of course they were asked to guess Mary's birthday. Maybe you didn't know. Even if he lost in this round, the previous record would be played. That's the place. Finally, Yumiko manages to defeat her in the game, and then Mimi colleagues try to negotiate with him to get rid of the tape. But you decided to play me and risk your career as an idol. When Mayumi dreamed of becoming an idol, the fans there turned out to be the real fans. They still support Yumi and they don't care about Yumi's disdain. She disgusts them more. Of course, I'm happy that he has fans who always support him. In the end, they both double up to liven things up. You can go and explain this after all. I didn't want to use Yumiko to overthrow Yumi, so Yumiko wants to find the culprit. You can also be sure that Cade is to blame, the one who pretends to cooperate even though he wants to destroy you, ma'am, but they couldn't prove Cade's behavior. So you can go to the challenge to gamble with her. Then Maiko uses her pet status to challenge the student council members. And the student council cannot refuse the challenge. Then Cade has no choice but to accept Yumiko's challenge. Who will be the referee in their match? Vice president of the student council. Her name was Rebecca. They will play election poker with unlimited bets, because Cade is a subsidiary of the National Finance Corporation. Of course he has a lot of money. Even the highest bet, the owner is free to designate a strong card or a weak card as the winner. You can be sure that Cade is highly favored in the game. He prepared 100 chips worth 1 billion. Yumiko prepares only 31 chips when the game starts. Cade appeared to think in the most favorable way to anticipate Yumiko's actions, in order to defeat her decisively. Even though you made one in the first round with a total of 41 chips, Cade turned things around and made him lose everything he had in chips. But the game is still going on because Yumiko wants money from Itsuki, and puts a bet in Yumiko's name so she can keep playing. And Suki believe that you were fulfilling your crazy wishes. It's where Otsushi prepared 100 chips for Yumiko. But Cade certainly didn't keep quiet and continued. With Suki's financial limit cornered, raising the stakes, and Suki put Marco's card all over Suki's body, confident that she would win with you and life on the line in a game worth 10 billion. Maiko feels horny seeing this madness, but Cade, he felt the bet was unreasonable and didn't follow the rules of the game. After that, Ririk took off his mask. There he turned out to be the student council president in disguise. So, he increased Suki's life to 10 billion and the total bet reached 12 billion, while Cade panicked that it was difficult to exceed 12 billion. If Yumiko gets the right to vote, Yumiko will definitely win, so Cade confidently risked it all. And his life, bringing the total bet to 13 billion. Of course, the right to vote for the cards is firmly in Cade's hands. Cade has chosen the strong card as the winner. Hearing this made Suki look sad. although she laughed. Slyly, Kate instantly loses badly because you made those cards better than him. In the end, he fainted until his hair turned white, from losing your entire fortune in an instant, leaving you with nothing. The lesson is that otherwise you shouldn't gamble. You'll end up like this person. Then Kirani became interested in Yumiko and asked her to play with her the next day. They have prepared a place to play, where they will be expelled from the academy immediately. If he loses the game, they will play the Tariq Profawi card, because it only takes 3 turns to finish the game. So Ryota will open the final card to decide the winners. Destiny. The supervisor in the game is a student council member named Runner. At the beginning of the game, Yumiko reveals a card, opens a card worth 1 point, and Kiri opens a card worth 21 points. Of course, Ryota needs to open the Fool's card or earn another 20 points. Meanwhile, Mary and Suki, watching from above, already knew where the Fool's card was. This was because earlier Kiri had marked it with the same blue color, like her fingernails. Knowing this, Ryota wanted to take it but didn't because he felt it was a trap. Then, Ryota fights, randomly picking cards until Yumiko goes crazy. See, Ryota. The match ended in a draw, and they went to school as usual,